2.7. Solving equations in one variable. Not what? I don't know what I just wrote. So, extraneous solutions are solutions that are not, cannot write today, actually solutions of the original equation so basically we get an answer, but if we plugged it back in, it's not true. And then rational equations, because that's what we're dealing with for the most part in this section, is something like f of x over g of x is equal to 0. All right, on to problems. Solve the equation algebraically, support numerically, and identifying the extraneous solutions. So basically, when we get an answer, we're just going to plug them in and check and make sure that they give a true statement. And just for reference, when we check, I mean, I know we've done this before, but when we check all the way down the side. We're not moving things over to try to prove that it's true. We leave everything where it is. So, 2x plus 5, nope, plus 2 is equal to 15 divided by x. And so I'm trying to solve this down. So I'm going to multiply by x to try to get rid of the fractions. So I'm going to multiply the entire thing by x. So that gives me x squared plus 2x is equal to 15. I'm going to move it over. I'm trying to basically get an equation that's set equal to 0 so that I can actually factor or possibly quadratic formula or potentially complete the square. It just depends. But so I've got x squared plus 2x minus 15 equals 0. So what can I do with that? Plus 5 minus 3. So x plus 5, x minus 3. So that means that x equals what?
-5 or 3.
Okay, so those are my two answers. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to check them to make sure. So each one individually. So -5 plus 2 is equal to 15 divided by -5. So -3 is equal to -3. So we're good to go with that one. And then with 3 plus 2 is equal to 15 divided by 3. 5 equals 5. So we're also good to go with that one. Now, a lot of times one will work and not the other, but we always have to check them to see what happens. The answer is for that problem. 6.
How come we came out with opposite sign
Where?
on the when we checked?
They are the same. These are two separate checks.
Compared to the what we got.
That
we're
wasn't-
working backwards. Never mind.
Yeah, we just plugged the number in to make sure that it made a true statement.
Yeah. Okay.
As long as it's a true statement, we're good. All right, 3 divided by x minus 1 plus 2 divided by x equals 8. Now, I left room intentionally because we're going to be, multiplying. So I need to get a common denominator on the left to be able to do stuff. So to do that, I'm going to multiply the first one by x over x and the second one by x minus 1 over x minus 1. So I've got 3x plus 2x minus 2 divided by x times x minus 1. So I'm going to multiply by the x times x minus 1 over here so I can get rid of the fraction. So I'll have 5x minus 2 is equal to 8x squared minus 8x. So I just went ahead and multiplied it without actually writing it, but basically I just did this. Which got rid of it from over here. Now I need to get everything to one side, so I'm going to move these things over here. So negative 8x squared plus 13x minus 2 equals 0. So now the question becomes, can I factor this? Factors of 16 that give me 13. No. All right, so what might we need to do instead? Quadratic formula. So negative b, negative 13 plus or minus the square root of b squared. So 13 squared is 169. So I'm going to go ahead and write it that way. Minus 4 times a times c. So 4 times 16, because those negatives are going to cancel. 4 times 16 is what, 64? Josh?
Yes. I
was like, I'm waiting for confirmation here. And then 2a would be negative 16. So I've got negative 13 plus or minus the square root of 105 divided by 16, or negative 16. So when I do that, I get, I don't know. We're going to let the calculator give us an answer on that. Negative 13 plus the square root of 105 divided by negative 16. .172. That's for the positive one. For the negative one, .453. Gotta love it. So to check this, where's the thing? Okay, there it is. To check, we've got 3 divided by 0.172 minus 1 plus 2 divided by 0.172 equals 8. So I'm going to just put this in my calculator as, oh, not that button, as multiple fractions. Whoa, not that. Plus fraction 2 divided by 0.172. So when I put this in my calculator, obviously we rounded, so I get 8.005. So that's close enough. okay, to say that it's fine. Obviously, because we rounded, it's not going to be perfect. If I used the unrounded number, it probably would come out exact, but so that number's good. Then the other one, 3 divided by 1.453 minus 1 plus 2 divided by 1.453 is equal to 8. Tree. And with that one, I get basically 7.999, which is, again, good enough because we did rounding. If we hadn't rounded, then obviously we probably should say there's a problem, but because we rounded, but those two answers would both work in this scenario. Now, obviously, it's nice when they come out nice and pretty like the first problem, but obviously that doesn't always happen. Let's see. 10 x plus 6 divided by x equals negative 7. So what do I need to do to go about solving this one? Across what? Yep, across everything. At a minimum on the left-hand side, but by multiplying everything by x, I can completely get rid of the fraction because it basically just skips a step for me by doing that. So I've got x squared plus 6 equals negative 7x. Move that over. X squared plus 7x plus 6 equals 0. Now what?
X plus 6, x plus 1.
Yes. I've been doing factoring in Algebra 2, and so I'm, like, sitting there because, like, a lot of times they give me the wrong sign, so I was, like, sitting there looking at it, and I was, like, looking at the answer in the book, but I forgot that the answer is already given as, like, x equals whatever, and I was like, you have the wrong signs, and I was like, oh, wait, no, she doesn't.
I was just waiting, I was like, is it right?
Sorry, no mean to scare you.
You're going to get a text forth, okay?
Okay,
Will that work?
yeah,
Good.
thank you.
You got scared too.
I was like,
I was kind of like, yes.
you never know. Sometimes it's those, like, be like, the dates are wrong on the sign-up sheet. I know. It's not my fault. Okay, so then x equals what? Negative 6 and negative 1. Okay.
Checking the size.
So then to check it, negative 6 plus 6 over negative 6 equals negative 7. So negative 6 minus 1 equals negative 7. Negative 7 equals negative 7. And then negative 1 plus 6 over negative 1 equals negative 7. So negative 7 equals negative 7. So again, both are good. Now, if you ever get one where they're both not good, like say one's good, one's not, still have both answers written there, because then, like, you know, hypothetically you did something wrong. Don't be like, oh, I'm just going to erase it. Like, write extraneous by the one that's not, and then, like, actually box the one that would work, kind of thing. 14. We've got 4x divided by x plus 4 plus 3 divided by x minus 1 equals 15 divided by x squared plus 3x minus 4. Now, what I'm going to tell you is I would do, I would factor this before you ever do anything anytime you have a situation like that. Okay, because sometimes what happens is that it ends up actually being the factors of this, and so by multiplying everything across, you can get rid of the fractions completely instead of having to deal with these scary fractions the whole time. So what would that factor into?
X plus 4 and x minus 1.
Oh, look at that. X plus 4 and x minus 1. I'm just gonna... don't want to write it again. So now I can multiply the whole thing by x plus 4 and x minus 1. So that means that I would have 4x times x minus 1 plus 3 times x plus 4. Then on the other side, everything cancels, so I would just be left with 15. Okay, and obviously you could have gone ahead and multiplied it through if you wanted to. I'm not like, write every little step. I just am, so that way if you go back to look, you're not thoroughly confused. So 4x squared minus 4 plus 3x plus 12 equals 15. So at this point, I would move everything over to one side. And so you would end up with 4x squared plus 3x minus 7. Josh?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. I tell people all the time, my quick math like that is not nearly as good as it used to be. Because we were, up until, calculus, we were never allowed to use a calculator. And even that, we were only allowed to use it for, very minimal things. So I was really good at quick math in my head because I had to be. And then I went to college and they were like, here's a calculator. And I was like, great, thanks.
Right? Wouldn't it be 3?
What do you mean, would it be 3? We have 12 minus 4.
Negative
is
4
8.
minus 15
Oh,
would be
I didn't see
negative
4.
19
Okay, never
plus
mind.
12. I was like, what do you mean? But I got to college and they handed us a calculator and I was like, great, thanks. And so then I started using a calculator and then my quick math got really bad.
No, wait. No, I'm still confused because
Eight.
Negative 4 plus 12 is 8
not that part. Before,
minus 15.
where the 4x times x minus 1 wouldn't the
Oh yeah,
neg-
that's what I
that's
was
negative
thinking. Wouldn't that be
4x.
minus 4?
Oh.
See,
Yes!
I had that on my paper too.
I was like, what are you talking about?
I had it on
I
my
had it on
paper
my
too,
paper
and I
and I'm
erased all of it. I was like, oh.
Am I
Because I got
losing my
like,
mind?
I got negative x minus 3 or something. I was like, okay. I was like, my quick math is bad too. I guess.
My quick math is really bad.
This might be a little more pleasant to factor than what we just had
I was
also.
gonna say. I was really not looking
I
forward
already
to
had my
factoring that.
factors ready too, and I had to erase it all. I was like,
I had already figured out the factors for the one with the minus 7. It would have been positive 7 and negative 4.
At least it's still
Job,
All
man.
right, what are these factors then?
Oh, I lost it.
negative
So,
4, negative 4, positive 3. So x minus 4 and x plus 3.
4x squared minus 4x plus 3x minus 3.
Oh shoot, yeah, I forgot about that.
Because there's a number out front, so we have to factor by grouping. So 4x times x minus 1, 3 times x minus 1. So 4x plus 3 times x minus 1 equals 0. So then x equals negative 3/4, or x equals 1. Now, do you notice anything?
There's a lot of X's.
Well, right, but I need to check. But do you notice anything immediately?
Do we have to plug it back into the original thing?
We do, but I'm trying to save you some work. Look at my answers and look at what you have.
They should cancel. Just the 4.
Well,
When you flip.
okay. What is my
Oh,
denominator?
Okay, so you're gonna end up with something that's undefined.
1 is going to give me an undefined answer because this is going to give me a 0 in the denominator. So immediately I can say this is extraneous. Okay, because it would cause an undefined answer.
I was just waiting to see if they could get that.
Right, definitely.
Virginia, you're so smart.
Negative 3/4, we do need to still check because that's not one that immediately we can see if there's going to be a problem. So 4 times negative 3/4 divided by negative 3/4 plus, I'm going to go ahead and make this as something over 4 just so it's easier to deal with. So I'm going to make that 16 over 4 plus 3 divided by negative 3 over 4 minus 4 over 4. I'm going to work this part out, and then I'll do the other part because I don't have room on the side. If you have room, you can, set it equal to that. 4's cancel on the top, so I'm left with negative 3 over 13 over 4. Yeah. Nope, not times. Plus 3 over negative 7 over 4. So annoying. This is really irritating. I'm going to type it in my calculator. I don't feel like doing it by hand.
I don't even know what to do there. I wouldn't either.
Well, I would probably keep change flip and then get a common denominator, but that sounds like a lot of work. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to put it
I'm
in.
not ready for all of it. How would you put that all into your calculator?
So if you hit alpha y equals, it lets you do fractions.
I just use a lot of parentheses.
I do too.
So many.
Well, I have fractions and fractions now, so.
Wait, this is not fun.
Oh, good. This comes out to negative 240 over 91. Definitely would have gotten that eventually.
Yeah, would have taken a hot second. But
All right, and then now I need to do the right side. So 15 divided by negative 3/4 squared plus 3 times 3 over 4. Oh, minus negative 3 over 4. Minus 4. I'm just going to put that in. I'm not even going to try to get a common denominator. 15 divided by parentheses alpha. Negative 3 divided by 4 squared plus, nope, minus, just gonna go ahead and make that a minus. 9 over 4 minus 4. Oh, good. Negative 240 over 91. Fabulous.
Do the thing with alpha.
If you hit alpha y equals, it brings up n over d is what you're looking for. So this one worked. So basically, that's how I would do my answer. I would box the answer that works and then label the other one as extraneous. Now, if you box it and then write extraneous beside it, obviously that's totally fine too. But that one was brutal to check.
I guess these aren't as friendly as I think they would be.
The problem itself wasn't that bad, but the checking part was awful.
Different story. Yeah.
All right. Do y'all want me to go ahead and give you the problems that go with this so far, and then we'll save the word problems for tomorrow?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because the word problems will look like this as well. We don't do a ton of them, but we will do a few. So at this point, we have 5, 9, and 15. Okay, not anything obnoxious. I'll add 2 more word problems, or word, well, actually. I may or may not actually give you word problems to do, but I'm going to add 2 more problems to it tomorrow. I actually think y'all have enough information to go ahead and do those if you wanted to, but you don't have to. But we are going to do a couple word problems tomorrow that go with this stuff, and if I can find one that's similar, I might give you one. But they're not that bad, honestly, so.
Just nothing like that